Hello, I'm Susan Woods of Susan Woods Nonprofit Solutions. Thank you for your time. I'm reaching out to people who received that dreaded letter from the IRS that stated that their 501c3 nonprofit organization had been revoked. Again, I'm reaching out to people, to nonprofit professionals who received a letter from the IRS stating that their nonprofit 501c3 status had been revoked due to failure to file the appropriate Form 990 information return for 3 consecutive years. When you receive that letter from the IRS, you must cease operating your nonprofit because it doesn't exist anymore in the eyes of the IRS. That means that if you continue to accept money from people who are under the impression that you still have a 501c3 nonprofit status, that's fraudulent behavior. If you accept grant funding, let's say that you were in the middle of receiving a grant when you received the letter, if you still accept the grant knowing that you have a revocation status, that's still fraudulent behavior. The IRS revoked your status. That means your organization does not have 501c3 status anymore. And the reason that I am elaborating on this topic is because so many people call me and they just cannot believe that they can't continue to operate without a status. Revoke means just that, taken away. You don't have it anymore. The good news is you can get your status reinstated. You can reinstate your 501c3 nonprofit status. The process to reinstatement is tedious, just as it was when you apply for 501c3 nonprofit status initially, if you use the loan Form 1023. So I'm going to walk you through the steps of reinstating your 501c3 status after automatic revocation from the IRS. I'm going to start from when you receive that letter in the mail. Oh my goodness, I've had clients to send me a copy of that letter and it's in huge writing. The font is huge, stating that your status has been revoked. That's heartbreaking because I'm sure you've gone through a lot to get your status to begin with, and I'm sure you are in the middle of offering excellent services in the community. So how do you get it back? Well, unfortunately, you have to complete the Form 1023 application for recognition of exemption, the long form, because the IRS does not allow you to use the EZ form for reinstatement purposes. So you will have to complete the long form of the Form 1023 application for recognition of exemption. This is how I work with clients. The first thing I ask them is if they still have copies of the original application that they submitted for 501c3 status to begin with, because you may be able to leverage some of the information in the original Form 1023. Most of the time, they tell me they don't have it. They tell me that someone else completed their application packet for them and they never got a copy of it, or that they used the Form 1023 EZ to get their status originally, which you know does not require any documentation. So most of my clients, we just start fresh from scratch. When they hire me to complete their reinstatement, they first have to complete or participate in a consultation. I never take on any clients without talking to them first through a consultation. And in the consultation, we talk about what happened, what led to the revocation. And while they're sharing with me, I'm writing notes. And normally the case is, well, we just didn't know we needed to file a Form 990 information return every year because we're not doing anything with that nonprofit. Or they may say we're not generating enough money to file a Form 990. We didn't know that you had to file a Form 990, even if you don't make any money at all. We didn't know that. So we were revoked. That's important to know because we have to tell the IRS what led to the revocation in the reinstatement application. So when they say, well, you know what, I just want to get started all over again. I need to get this status back, Susan. I need to continue doing my work. My fee to complete a reinstatement application packet is $1,500 because I complete the Form 1023 full version, standard version. It has up to 40 pages, even though we don't use all of those pages, but that's how big it is. That's how large it is. In addition to that, it's not just merely completing the Form 1023. We have to include a reasonable cause statement to explain exactly what happened and what measures you're going to put in place to prevent the revocation from happening again. That's a whole statement we have to create. Then we have to talk about which of the 4 types of reinstatement options you want to use for your nonprofit organization. So I explained the 4 different types and the benefits or the advantages and disadvantages of each one of them because they have advantages and disadvantages for all 4 types. We have to go through that for a reinstatement. But that decision guides how I complete the Form 1023 for you. Now, we don't need to get the EIN letter anymore, the employer identification number letter anymore, because we can still use the same EIN. Some people think you have to start all over with the EIN too. No, you don't, because we're reinstating the one that you lost. I will check the status of your articles of incorporation with the Secretary of State's office in the state in which you operate to make sure they are still in good standing, because they must be. We have to assure the IRS that your articles of incorporation are still in good standing with the Secretary of State's office. I complete that step for you to make sure that they are. And then I complete all of the documents for you that go along with the Form 1023, which are 5 documents. Now, once again, if you don't have anything that you can share with me, then we have to start from scratch. If you have something that you can share with me, and if it's still relevant or still current or accurate, I can include it in your application. The 5 documents that I complete for you that go with the reinstatement application are the bylaws. Number 1, the bylaws. Number 2, the Your Activities document. Number 3, the financial data report. Number 4, the fundraising activities document. And number 5, the conflict of interest. Because we have to include those documents in the full version of the Form 1023 application for recognition of exemption. So let me tell you a little bit about what each one of those documents entail. The bylaws serve as a governing document of your nonprofit. It includes all of the articles that talk about how you're going to operate your nonprofit, the purpose of it, how you're going to hold board meetings, the different positions on the board and the responsibilities, the dissolution clause, the indemnification clause, everything you need for the bylaws. I create that document for you. I'm listing these 5 documents in the order in which they must be completed because they build on each other. The second document that I will complete for you is called Your Activities. Now, this is the heart of the application, and you've been operating your nonprofit anyway, so you can simply tell me what you've been doing in the past, what you were presently doing before you were revoked, and what you plan to do as far as how you plan to serve the community. For example, if you've been taking senior citizens for kidney dialysis services over the years, then we need to talk about how you've done that. That's in the Your Activities document. I call it the heart of the reinstatement application because it tells the IRS what you had been doing past, present, and planned activities. So we spell that out. Then number 3, I complete what's called the financial data report. The financial data report uses the information in Your Activities to list all of the expenses required to offer the services that you offered in the past and that you want to continue offering. We have to create a list of expenses to outline that. For example, going back to transporting senior citizens with dialysis issues to their appointments, you need transportation, you need gas, you need to maintain the vehicles, you need human beings to take them back and forth. Whatever else you need, those are expenses. And once we've solidified the expenses, then we need to talk about the revenues. because the financial data report includes two sections, revenues and expenses. We need to talk about how are you going to raise money for those expenses. If the expenses are $100,000 a year, how are you going to raise it? Through grants, fundraising, donations, charging the clients, charging Medicare, whatever. We need to list that. The fourth document that I create for you to get your status reinstated is called the fundraising activities document. And we take the revenues categories from the financial data report to put in the fundraising activities document to show the IRS what percentage of the revenues are you going to generate from grants? What percentage of the revenues are you going to generate from donations? What percentage of the revenues are you going to generate from fundraising activities? So we have to explain that in that document. The fifth document that we include in the Form 1023 long version to get your status reinstated is the conflict of interest policy. I use the exact copy that IRS has on its website for the conflict of interest policy to create the conflict of interest policy for reinstatement clients. So we have to compile all of that information. Have to make sure your EIN is still up to date. Have to make sure your articles are still current. And then those 5 documents, bylaws, your activities, financial data report, fundraising activities, and the conflict of interest policy document, all of those documents must be merged together into one document because the IRS only allows one document to be attached to an application. After all that's done, I send each document, I forgot to tell you, I send each document to you one by one so that you can review them and give me feedback. Based on a timeline that I send, I ask for 30 business days to complete an application packet. I send you a timeline to let you know the date you can expect to receive the bylaws, the date you can expect to receive the your activities document. And then I ask for 2 business days for you to turn around and give me feedback. We collaborate, we work together. I don't just write documents and submit them. I write documents and I send them to you for you to review and give me feedback. And I do that 3 times if necessary. I create 3 drafts of each of the 5 documents that I listed if necessary. So 5 times 3 is 15. There may be, I may have to create 15 drafts of documents until you're happy with them. When you are happy with the documents, then I compile them into one document, the documents that you've approved, into one document to attach to the Form 1023. So that's the first half of the process to getting your application reinstated. It's a lot of work. It's worth $1,500. I'm telling you, it is. Now, after we've done all of that, then it's time for me to go online to complete the Form 1023 application for recognition of exemption for you, the long version. Once upon a time, many years ago, I would complete an application packet for my clients and I would mail them the application packet. I put little tabs on them to show them where they needed to sign different documents and put it in the mail with instructions on how they need to then mail the application to the IRS. In 2020, the IRS stopped the mailing process. They went online using a platform called pay.gov. Pay.gov is what stores the Form 1023 application. You won't find the Form 1023 application on irs.gov anymore. It's not there. They've moved it over to pay.gov. So in 2020, from 2020 to 2023, I was able to just go have my clients set up a pay.gov account. They would give me access to their account. Then I would go out there to their account and just upload the application and say, okay, your application is ready for you to go out and take a look at. Well, in September of 2023, the IRS implemented a 2-step authentication process that prevents me from being able to do that. Now I have to guide my clients through a series of steps in order for me to even be able to complete their application. I provide a quick reference guide in which I type the steps that they have to follow and I send it to them. The steps include creating either an ID.me account or a login.gov account that will connect to the pay.gov account. That's a lot of information I just shared. But again, I provide a step-by-step guide for my clients to print out and then follow. Once they create either an ID.me account or a login.gov account that connects to their pay.gov account, they let me know. When they let me know, then I send them a link to reserve a free phone appointment, because I now have to be on the phone with them in order to access their account. Because once I'm on the phone with them, they would give me the information I need to access their ID.me account or or login.gov account. Once I do that, then they will receive a 6-digit code that I would need to implement in order to go to the final step of accessing their pay.gov account. So you see how much is involved with it now. The IRS really increased my workload as far as more time that I have to work with the client to even complete the Form 1023. But once we've gotten through all of that, while I'm on the phone with them, I make sure that I'm in their Form 1023 account on pay.gov. Then I said, okay, now I am in your account. I'm going to enter the information into your Form 1023. It takes me about 90 minutes to do that. And then I will send you an email to let you know that I'm done. And you can then, and then I will send the steps, another quick reference guide, the steps to going in and accessing their Form 1023, to read it to make sure they're satisfied with it. Now, I've already made copies of it for my records. So if a client goes in and makes changes to the Form 1023, that's their prerogative. They have a right to do that. However, if the IRS comes back with questions on what they've changed, I can't answer those questions. I only answer questions on work that I do, on information that I add. After they are happy with reading the Form 1023 information, then they will process the IRS's fee of $600. Once they submit the $600, they will receive a receipt from the IRS with a confirmation code that they will keep as verification of submission. The IRS asks for 6 months to process a reinstatement application or any application, 6 months to process the application. During that 6-month time frame, I am on standby for my clients. I don't just disappear. I stand by just in case the IRS reaches back out to the client to say, hey, we need more information about this. Or, hey, we're not clear on this, because the IRS assigns one person, which I really like. They'll assign one person to process your reinstatement application. So they may come back with questions. They'll send you a letter in the mail. That's the initial contact. They don't call you first. They don't email you first. They send a letter first. The letter will outline everything they need for you to answer for them before they can approve your application. The clients don't have to answer it. The clients will send that letter to me or take a picture of it and send it to me. I will write the response for the client and no additional charge, and send it back to them so they can sign it and send to the IRS. I even go as far as sending them the steps to send the response letter to the IRS, and then we wait again. Normally, after we send in the information and request, the next letter they get is called a determination letter. The determination letter is the approval letter that says, congratulations, you have earned 501c3 nonprofit status. And that's when we go our separate ways, unless they become a member of an organization that I provide ongoing support. And I'll tell you more about that in another video. But if they don't become a member of that organization for ongoing support, then we go our separate ways and they manage their organizations on their own. That's the process. That is the process. I will place my reinstatement services against anybody. I don't care who it is. It could be LegalZoom. It could be any other major corporation that does this type of work. It can be other consultants. It could be accountants. It could be lawyers. It doesn't matter. My work is equal to or superior than their work, because I don't know of anyone, and you tell me if I'm wrong, but I don't know of anyone that's going to do 3 drafts of a document free of charge, 3 drafts of the bylaws, 3 drafts of your activities, 3 drafts of the financial data report, 3 drafts of the fundraising activities, 3 drafts of the conflict of interest policy if needed with no additional charge. Who does that? besides Susan Woods. I do this because I'm passionate about serving the community. I'm serving the community through you. I'm serving the community by helping you get reinstated so that you can continue serving the community. That's a blessing to me. And I thank God for putting me in this position since 2010 to do this work. All told, I have completed over 400 Form 1023 applications for clients in 33 states. And every single one of them have been approved. All of the clients that have hired me to get their status reinstated have been reinstated because I'm very meticulous about my work. It's personal. It's personal for me. I have to do good work. It's in my DNA from my parents. I must do good work. So you don't have to worry about me not creating an excellent package for you. It's just impossible for me not to do a good job. I can't do a bad job. And again, I care about the community. So knowing that I'm helping you resume the services that you were offering in the community is a blessing. And I'm proud to be in this position. So again, my fee is $1,500 to complete the reinstatement packet. It's not just one thing, it's a packet of information that I guide you through because there are some twists and turns that are very important to know how to do in a reinstatement application that you don't have to worry about in a new application to start a nonprofit from scratch. Reinstatement is a whole nother ballgame, okay? So I guide you through that. The IRS has a separate fee of $600 that you have to pay them to process your application. Now, if you want to expedite it, if you say, I got to get this back in place before a certain time, I can guide you through the steps to expedite the application. I can't guarantee you that the IRS will do it, but the ones I've submitted for expedited processing really did receive expedited processing. So, and that normally reduces the time frame from 6 months to 3 months or even less than 3 months sometimes. So I can guide you through that at no additional charge. I want to help you, plain and simple. I want to help you get your status back, your 501c3 status back. Now, if you say, oh my God, I just cannot afford $1,500. Our nonprofit, is very small and funds are limited. I just cannot afford it. I offer a payment plan. Well, actually two, and this is how it works. Deposit $750, non-refundable. 50% of my fee. Deposit 50% of my fee up front. Then you will have a $750 balance. I'm going to add $50 to that balance for convenience of a payment plan. The payment plan convenience fee is $50. So that's going to take your balance up to $800. You can decide then whether or not you want to make 2 payments of $400 or 4 payments of $200 per month. 2 monthly payments of $400 each or 4 monthly payments of $200 each. That's your choice, A or B. Now think about this. I told you that it takes me 30 business days to complete an application. Once you've submitted your application for reinstatement to the IRS, it's gone. I can't go to the IRS, hey, they didn't pay me my balance. I can't do that. So what am I doing? I'm trusting you. I'm trusting you to honor your payment plan agreement. It could be 4 months down the line before I get paid in full. I'm trusting you to honor that. 2 months down the line, I'm trusting you. That's a testament, I believe, to my sincere desire to help you get your status reinstated. Because my friends, $1,500 is not enough for the work that I do. I realize that. I know it sounds like a lot, or it may not. Some people tell me I don't charge enough. I know I don't charge enough. Not for the level of work that I do, the quality of work that I do, and the number of hours that I spend. I know I don't charge enough. But again, I want to help. And this is my way of giving back to the community. So if you lost your 501c3 status, don't be ashamed. The IRS has revoked thousands thousands upon thousands upon thousands since they implemented the requirement to submit a Form 990, even if you generate zero revenues. It hasn't always been this way. The IRS implemented this policy in 2006. They allowed the word to spread, if you will, for 3 years. And then they started revoking in 2010. If you don't file a Form 990, the appropriate one for your organization, no matter if you have zero revenue, no matter if you're not doing a thing, you still have to file a Form 990. If you don't, for 3 consecutive years, you would get that letter that you got, that your status has been automatically revoked. And a lot of people still don't know that, because prior to 2006, if you didn't generate $50,000 or more, the IRS don't even bother, don't even worry about it. Don't even file a Form 990. We don't even want to hear from you. If you didn't do $50,000 or more, don't forget it. Well, guess what? That was an ocean-sized loophole, because people lied and they claimed they didn't do $50,000 or more, so they wouldn't have to report it. When in fact, they did way more than that. Some people did millions of dollars, but hey, we could use the money any kind of way we want if we don't have to report it. So they had to close that loophole. So you have to put in writing, zero. I have a nonprofit myself. I don't offer any programs under it. So every year I complete the Form 990N e-postcard. That's the one you complete if you have $50,000, between $0 and $50,000, you use the Form 990N e-postcard. I do it every single year because I don't want to lose my status. So I know to do that. Once you get your status reinstated, you will know to do it too, so that you won't lose it ever again. I'm Susan Woods of Susan Woods Nonprofit Solutions. If you're ready to get reinstated, click on the link below in the description or the comments, or however you're reading this or reviewing this video. It may have a comment section below it, or it may have a description section below it. Whichever way, there is a link, a reinstatement link. Click on that link. It'll spell out everything I've shared with you in this video in writing. You'll see a contract agreement that shows everything that I'm talked about in writing. And if you're ready to move forward, and if you're able to pay the full $1,500, go ahead and do that. Or if you want to pay half, go ahead and do that. But I want to help you. I want to help you get your status back. Oh, I'm sorry, I gave you the wrong instructions. When you click on the link, it'll take you to the contract, but it will take you to a link to reserve a consultation, because I don't accept any clients before I talk to them in a phone consultation. I apologize for that. Then if we agree to work together, I will send you a link to process your payment. Consultation is first. Agreement to work together is second. Then I send you a link to process your payment as third. Once you've processed your payment, I will send you a timeline that will show you when you can expect to receive each document from me, the date in which you expect to receive each document from me, and also the date in which I would like to get your feedback. We collaborate, we work together. Now I say thank you for your time and have a great day.